Welcome to Rare Connection, the podcast that connects rare disease patients, caregivers, and advocates while educating the public and medical professionals through the power of storytelling. I'm your host, Joanna, the creator of this podcast and the Rare Chef YouTube channel, where we explore the intersection of rare disease, nutrition, and lived experience. Today's guest is Tammy, a devoted mom, early childhood educator, and passionate advocate from Kansas. She and her husband, Ben, are raising their 7-year-old son, Johnathon, who lives with a rare Ankyrin related disorder, a condition that affects neurological development and parents with multiple complex symptoms, including hypotonia, brain abnormalities, sensory processing disorder, intellectual disability, autism, ADHD, and more. Tammy brings a unique perspective as both a parent and a professional. And she works with children from ages 6 weeks to 5 years old. And her experience in early childhood development helps guide her through the challenges and triumphs of raising a child with special needs. She also supports the rare disease and disability communities through involvement with Wichita Little Heroes, the Meaningful Life Foundation, and Challenging Games organizations that provide crucial support to families like hers. In this episode, you'll hear Johnathon's story through Tammy's eyes and explore what it means to advocate, adapt, and keep learning every day. Let's get started. So Tammy, when did you first start noticing signs that something might be different in his development?
When he was about 6 months old, anywhere from 6 months to 12 months old is when we started noticing really noticing delays in him.
So what did you notice at that time?
That he wasn't crawling, he wasn't sitting up like most kids. And a lot of it was because of his heart problems. We couldn't do tummy time with him, and then we had to wait after his open heart surgery before we could start doing tummy time. So that kind of put some delays in him. Johnathon didn't start walking until he was 2 years old. He didn't start crawling until he was a year old.
Mm-hmm. What about talking?
Talking was about 3.5, 4 years old. He still has quite a bit of delay with language communication and expressive communication skills.
Mm-hmm. Are you working with a speech therapist on that?
Yes.
Um, how did you go about getting a diagnosis, and how long did that process take?
That process was a long process. We didn't get the diagnosis of his autism until he was 3.5. And they still do different types of testings on him. Like he sees a neurologist, he sees a cardiologist, he sees a genetic specialist. So because he does have some different rare diseases,
Mm-hmm.
they continue to check to see if there's new information on him, or if might have some others that we don't know about.
ACE3 related conditions are quite rare. What was it like hearing the name for the first time?
Very terrifying, the unknowns. When I looked it up, I seen like the schizo, bipolar, and I asked Jonathan's genetic specialist about that, and they said that he doesn't have that, but there's others that goes along with it, like the heart, the brain abnormalities, the low muscle tone that he has, and more.
Mhm. So Jonathan has several overlapping conditions. How do they interact day to day?
Some days are easy, some days are not so easy. We have hard days and good days and not so good days.
So what does a good day look like?
Um, being able to for him to get outside and play after a certain time or before a certain time, being able to get out of the house for a while. Um, a not so good day, we have to stay home, keep him home, let him rest, because that's what his body needs sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah, you'll find that a lot with our disease patients. A lot of us can sleep 16 hours a day. It's um, what symptoms or challenges are there in are the most difficult to manage right now?
The his like autism, especially when the routine changes and routine is off, he likes to have a set routine and the same routine every day.
Mhm. Yeah. So what's that routine look like?
Um, get it, getting up of the mornings, brushing teeth, brushing hair, getting dre- getting clothes on, eating breakfast, playing with cars, looking at books, practiced handwriting his name, writing letters, going over numbers, playing outside, going to see his grandparents, going to school when he's in school.
So what happens if it gets disrupted?
Then we noticed increasement of behavioral challenges, which is makes it very hard, and we just have to try and adapt to those.
So how do you adapt?
Sometimes we just stay at home where it's nice and quiet, and where he can rest, and or we let him go outside and play and run off some energy.
How do you balance medical appointments, therapy, school, and just everyday life?
Well, appointments we try and schedule when Jonathan's out of school or later in the afternoon, so he's not missing so much school. Therapies are connected with his schooling, that makes it nice there.
So he has therapy at school.
Hmm.
Nice. As someone who works with children, uh, ages 6 weeks to 5 years old, has your professional background helped you understand Jonathan's development in a different way?
Yes, because some of the kids that I work with, they don't have the challenges that Jonathan has. And when I see kids that are young, some kids that are younger than Jonathan and that are way more advanced, I'm like, Jonathan should be doing that. But then I try to tell myself, don't compare Jonathan to other kids. He will eventually get there when the time comes.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes a little bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that he's an auditory learner. How do you incorporate that in?
Uh, having a lot of having a lot of pictures, so a lot of visuals with words and pictures.
Yeah. Have there been moments where your training as a teacher helped you advocate more effectively, or made even or maybe even made the experience more emotional?
Yes, it has helped me advocate for Johnathon. Sometimes it has made it emotional on me.
And how would that be?
Just watching the kids that are more advanced than he is just kind of breaks my heart. But then again, I tell myself, Johnathon will get there.
Yeah.
It's going to take him time.
Um, what would you want other teachers or daycare providers to know when caring for a child like Johnathon?
That it is important. It's important to really advocate to the parents about the child, listening to the parents, uh, like if the child's like 3 years old, for instance, but development age is like at a 1 year old level, then they need to accommodate where activities are based on a 1 year old level instead of a 3 year old level.
So, okay, so for those who don't know, what does that mean?
That means that means making adjustments to the daily schedule for some of the kids that need it.
So what are things that a 1 year old would do, and what are things that a 3 year old would do?
A 3 year old would be like working puzzles, practice practicing cutting with scissors, drawing. Would be a 1 year old would be playing with like puppets, like little snap beads, shakers.
Mhm. Mm. So you're involved in the Wichita Little Heroes, the Meaningful Life Foundation, and Challenging Games. How did you connect with these organizations?
Uh, Parents that was already part of the organizations and word of mouth. They told me about the programs and we got connected with the programs.
Sounds like there's a lot there. So you have just between teaching and all these organizations. So what do you do for them?
Um, with the organizations, we attend like events. They do like Wichita Littlest Heroes. They do like mom's night out. They do big events like holiday Christmas event, a summer luau event, a fall apple uh pumpkin patch event. Meaningful Life does adaptive sports like bowling, baseball, music and movement dance classes. Challenging Games does adaptive track and field and sports like field games like throwing like a ball or a beanbag.
Mhm. What kinds of support have they offered, and how have they made a difference for your family?
Just being there when we need somebody to talk to that has been through some of the same things that we're going through. Offering family financial assistance, helping out with holiday dinners, holiday gifts.
Do you have advice for other parents who might be feeling isolated or overwhelmed?
Yes, it's okay to feel overwhelmed and worried and scared. If they need to cry, cry. If they need to yell, yell. If they need to scream, scream. If they need to pick up a phone and contact somebody, a friend, family member, or somebody that's been through it, it's okay.
Mm. Let's talk about food and nutrition. Has Jonathan had any feeding challenges and tied to his medical condition?
He does have some certain textured foods where he doesn't eat. Like he will eat broccoli, but he won't eat cauliflower. He will eat oatmeal, but he won't eat cream of wheat. He will eat applesauce and bananas and apples, but he won't, and grape. He will eat grapes, but he won't eat oranges or peaches. He will eat green beans and corn, but he won't eat carrots. Now, raw carrots he will eat, just not cooked carrots.
Mm.
He likes chicken nuggets and fries, and and he can tell if they're McDonald's chicken nuggets and fries.
Hmm. So, is there a certain color that he likes, or is it just textural?
He like he likes color red. He's fascinated by the color red.
Hmm. Uh, have you ever worked with a feeding therapist, nutritional, or occupational therapist around uh, meals?
Yes, we work with Jonathan works with the occupational therapist at school for like his small and gross motor skills and hand and eye coordination. Uh Feeding therapist. He really hasn't had to have much feeding therapy.
And what about a nutritionist?
He hasn't really had to see a nutritionist either.
So, so what kinds of things does the occupational therapist do with him?
They help like with writing writing his name, practice helping him write his name, letters. They help with cutting.
Have you noticed any difference?
He's learning how to do like the O and the A.
But I mean, have you noticed a difference in what they're doing since he
Yeah.
started working with therapists?
Yes.
How so?
Uh, well, before he wasn't writing any letters, but now he just writes the letter O and the letter A.
Mhm. Does he know what the letters start with, or like, does he
Yeah.
know what letter A starts with, or letter
Yes.
O?
Mm-hmm.
So they're practicing those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Have you ever tried using visual supports like food charts, meal prep photos to help him with eating?
Yes,
So, do you have anything like what kinds of things do you use?
we use like when he's like feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, upset, we have like calm down charts where he can pick activity that's going to help him calm down, like reading a book, coloring, having a snack, having a drink.
Do you ever worry about whether he's getting enough nutrients?
Yes, all the time.
So yeah, especially with this hypotonia, it just so how do you handle that one?
Um, Sometimes we have to offer him extra snacks to make sure he's getting enough nutrients, especially when he gets sick. That's hard, and it's a fighting battle to even get him to eat anything, and then he loses weight because he gets sick. So then we just have to push fluids, and then his doctors and specialists will tell us, don't worry about the food, just making sure he stays hydrated, getting enough to drink. Then later on, we can give him extra snacks and making sure he's getting enough nutrients.
So um, how do you work around those concerns?
How I work around him,
Hmm?
just encouraging him that he needs to eat, and we need to eat healthy. And he will tell us he knows which foods are healthy and what foods are not healthy. He will tell us carrots are healthy, bananas are healthy, salad is healthy. Then he will tell us cookies are not healthy, candy is not healthy.
So how does he pick that up?
Just with us talking about a variety of food groups, what are healthy and what is not healthy.
So how does it work with other people when they're giving him snacks? Like in school, or when they have a, a special day where they're have snacks at school or something.
They all they offer it to him. Sometimes he will eat it, sometimes he won't.
But I mean, is he influenced by the other kids?
Yes,
Um, Have you ever used supplements, high calorie foods, or to help with growth energy?
we did when he was younger. We did the growing gain Pediasure shakes.
Mhm. So, are you still using them?
No, unless not no, not as much. But sometimes if he gets sick and loses weight, then sometimes we have to get him and use them.
What do you wish more people, especially doctors and or educators, understood about raising a child with rare neurodevelopment disorder?
That it's it's not easy. It's not easy by no means. and I wish they would listen to listen to the parents and advocate for the parents more.
So, how do you wish they would advocate? Well, what do you wish they would do?
Like if a child needs to see a specialist, I wish they would just advocate more and say, oh, we don't think there's anything wrong with your child, but then later on, a couple years later or a couple months later, oh, there is something wrong with your child. We think he or she may benefit for seeing this specialist and just kind of help advocate.
A lot of times doctors don't notice that stuff. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
especially
Which
if the
makes it,
child's doing really well.
yes, which makes it more frustrating on the parents.
Yeah, I can see that. What are your hopes for Jonathan's future?
My hopes are that he was able to hold down a job when he gets older, have his own place, be able to drive, be able to manage money.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with other people, with other parents on a um, uh, sure, on a similar journey?
Yes, that. Yes, having a child with complex medical needs, with special needs, child with a rare disease. Yes, it's very challenging. You're gonna have harder days than others. You're gonna have good days than others, and you just have to take it day by day. And if they don't know and have a lot of questions, it's okay to feel worried or scared and have ask all kinds of questions.
So how old is Jonathan now?
He's 7 years old.
Well, he's past the age that you're caring for now.
Hmm.
So, so thank you so much for Tammy for sharing Jonathan's story and giving us an honest, heartfelt look at what it's like for a parent through a rare, related diagnosis, while always working forward, while also working every day to support other children as a teacher. I know many listeners will relate to the feelings, challenges, and the overlapping diagnoses that strengthen it, that strength it takes to keep showing up and with love and patience. If you'd like to support the cause Tammy is involved with, please check out the links in the show notes. Wichita Little Heroes, Meaningful Life Foundation, and Challenging Aims. Each doing incredible work to uplift children and families facing serious medical challenges. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Rare Connection, my YouTube channel, Rare Chef, where I explore how nutrition and lived experience intersect in the rare disease world. If you're watching the video version, feel free to leave a comment below. If you're listening to the audio version, you can also you can reach out using the send me a text link in the show notes. You can also follow Rare Connection on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and join the Rare Connection Facebook group. If you want to connect with others who truly understand this journey, if you like to support the show financially, there's a support the show link in the show notes. And don't forget to check out the awareness t-shirt I designed featuring a zebra lining sunflowers to represent both invisible disabilities and rare disease. Sunflowers are the symbol for invisible disability, and zebras are the symbol for rare disease. I also have a shirt for the podcast and one for the my YouTube channel. They're all available on bonfire.com. Finally, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please know that you are always available. That help is always available. You can call or text 988 for immediate support, and you are not alone. And we'll see you. And we see you. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.